back. I won't be home at the usual time, but Dad will be home at 5 to cook dinner for you. See you as soon as I'm done.
Hi. Just wanted to call and let you guys know I'll be late tonight. Something came up at work. I won't be home till at least 7. Bye-bye.
Being left alone like this for the first time can be a bit scary. How would you feel if it happened to you? How safe would you feel? Is your family ready to deal with this kind of situation? Whether you're a single-parent family, a two-parent family, live in a house or an apartment, live in the city or the suburbs, this video will take you through 5 easy steps to help your family set your own guidelines in terms of leaving your 10 to 14-year-old home alone. To easily remember these steps, we have created an acronym called ALONE. The first step of ALONE is A. Assess if you are ready. But how do you decide whether or not your family is ready? It's a decision that has to be based on the family situation. Now, it may be different for each family. This step is going to give you a tool called the Am I Ready questionnaire to help you decide if you're ready. Both parents and 10 to 14-year-olds fill it out and compare answers. It's a great way to make a decision which is best for your family.
We all filled out a questionnaire, and there was one Am I Ready questionnaire for the 10 to 14-year-olds. And then there was one for the parents.
We learned that Sarah, although we thought she knew how to contact us at work, was not the case. She knew where we worked, but she didn't know the number and how to get a hold of us.
It got us talking about things that weren't even on the questionnaire.
I was scared that people would knock on the door that I didn't know.
As parents, sometimes I think we talk to our kids and we forget to listen to what they have to say about things.
I didn't know my mom's friends' phone numbers, so now I know them.
I think communication is important. It helps us keep talking and trying to understand each other.
The next step of ALONE is L. Learning about safety. If a 10 to 14-year-old is going to be left alone, it's important to think about safety. Education, how to prevent injuries, a well-stocked first aid kit, and emergency phone numbers will all help to avoid potentially dangerous situations. For example, how do you answer the phone if you're home alone? What should you do about using the stove? What if you lose your key? Who do you call if you feel lonely? What do you do if the power goes out? Uh-oh. The You're Not Alone worksheet is a great way to find out if you're able to handle some of these situations. Filling out this worksheet will help you talk about these things and decide how you want to respond to them.
How did you feel after filling out the You Are Not Alone worksheet? How did it help you?
It made me feel like I was trusted more.
It just sort of opened up the communication and gave us things that we knew we needed to talk about.
One of the games that we often play with this home when we're learning about safety is what if? What if something happens?
One is, what if someone comes to the door and we're not home?
I don't answer it.
And what if someone call? What if the telephone rings? So those are a couple games we play.
The next step of ALONE is O. Organize your home. By organizing, I mean being ready for some of the things that we talked about. Putting together a kit of items may help you feel more prepared. The kit can include things like a flashlight, first aid kit, a spare key, anything you think you might need. Now, families lead busy and active lives. That makes it more difficult for them to communicate, to let each other know what's going on. Filling out a daily calendar can help keep track of everyone's schedules and set up an after-school routine. And it's a great place to keep emergency phone numbers.
We talked about putting together a kit of materials so that you can feel comfortable about your 10 to 14-year-old having materials available to help them feel safe.
We do have all the things in a kit and everybody knows where they are.
One of the other things that we talked about in terms of organizing your home was filling out a calendar.
You can't live without calendar.
We'd run the risk of the kids being left alone all night or for longer periods than we plan if we don't keep track of each other's shifts. So it's not just for Sarah to know what to do, but we use it to communicate with each other too.
The The next step of a loan is N. Negotiating terms. Now, throughout the video, we've been talking about communicating. Now let's talk about negotiating. It is important for everyone involved to know what's expected of them. A contract can be drawn up that clearly states what's expected of each member of your family. Now, what goes into the contract is up to you. Just make sure it's clear and that everyone knows their responsibilities. A neighbor or relative chosen as the emergency contact person can sign the contract. It includes them in the process and makes them feel a part of the team.
There is a contract that you can fill with your 10 to 14-year-old. And in this contract, you both agree that these are your responsibilities.
A contract is a really adult thing.
They respected me, and they thought they were able to trust me.
If you have a contract, you can call them back and say, we agree on that day that you're going to do this.
You feel good because you sit with your kid and negotiate.
My parents were like, they didn't think I was a younger kid anymore. They thought I was growing up.
The last step of a loan is E, for evaluation. Now that everything's in place, it doesn't mean that it's over. Your family should have regular discussions about how things are going. The contract can be revised as your family's needs change.
The last step of preparing your 10 to 14-year-old to be home alone is to evaluate.
I'm not in the door 30 seconds when the first question is, well, how'd it go?
Paul is only 10, and he knows he's not supposed to touch the stove. So I guess when he get older, he could.
Right. I'd be quite happy to add prepare dinner to the list of responsibilities so that when I walked in the door, it was all ready.
That's right.
No, I can't wait for that moment. Do laundry.
Doing the steps of a loan will help your family decide when the time is right to leave a 10 to 14-year-old home alone and help you prepare for most situations. Now remember, A, assess if you are ready. L, learn about safety. O, organize your home. N, negotiate the terms. E, evaluate. 5 easy steps and you're ready to go.
I think the whole program is very positive and is very well organized, step by step.
It made me more organized.
I liked doing the contract. It was fun. I liked the steps about staying safe and being home alone. It felt like my parents were listening to me more and I was listening to them more.
I learned more about responsibility and my parents trusted me more.
Part of me is nervous about letting her stay home alone and preparing her to do that. And the other part of me is kind of dying to have no babysitter required.
It's part of the process of letting our children to have more independence.
Now I'm ready to stay home alone and be safe.